Join me today as I rebel against the Palamecian Empire with a colorful cast of characters from Final Fantasy II. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Nostalgic Nick-Nacks. This is my Fuse Beading Retro Gaming YouTube channel. My name is Ryan. I'm glad to have you here with me today because today I'm going to be looking at and making characters from Final Fantasy II. I'm going to be making the whole cast and they look great. They're so colorful. Can't wait to show them to you. I'm going to talk a little bit about Final Fantasy II and then show you how to make them yourself. If this is your first time to my YouTube channel, check out the link up here. It gives you all of the accessories you're going to need to be really great at fuse beading. I highly recommend watching it if you're serious about making these characters, or if you're somebody who just wants to tune in today to watch the process, see how it goes. That's great too. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comments or reach out to my email. It's down here. I appreciate all of you. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit about Final Fantasy II, and then we'll get into making these wonderful, very colorful characters. So I really don't have any nostalgic memories of Final Fantasy II because, as a lot of people know, Final Fantasy II was not available in North America. And I am from the United States and I did not have access to this game. In fact, I didn't hear about this game until way after the fact with the Game Boy Advance. I remember seeing this game on the shelves in Walmart and thinking, Final Fantasy 1 and 2? Dawn of Souls? What is this? And I really didn't know anything about it. So I popped it in to the Game Boy and was excited. I'm getting a great Final Fantasy here, actually 2 of them. But as I started to play it, I was just very turned off because the characters didn't look that great. They weren't as colorful as the first Final Fantasy I played, which was Final Fantasy IV. Actually came out Final Fantasy II in the States. I know, very confusing. But Final Fantasy IV was very colorful. There was a great story. And then I'm coming to Final Fantasy II, and the music is not that great. I'm very lost. I don't know where to go. And it just wasn't a great experience for me. So fast forward to the Pixel remaster that came out on the Switch a few years ago, and I got to experience this game in a totally different light. I experienced this game that came out in 1998 as if it was a brand new Final Fantasy, and the colors really did pop in this Pixel remaster. I actually talked all about the Pixel remaster. If you want to check out this link up here, I kind of reviewed it and just talked about it and talked about all the great memories and returning to playing it. But Final Fantasy II, as I was playing through it, it was such a new experience. The music was beautiful, orchestrated, symphonic music that just really brought you to a whole new place. And the pixels in particular, like Furion here, were so very improved. The original sprites, I'll put them up here on the screen, but they were not that great to look at. But these sprites were totally redone, and Furion actually did not even have a name in the original game. He was one of the characters, but you could name him whatever you wanted to name him. Going back to Final Fantasy II, why is it so great, and why am I making pixel art for it? Well, it actually was the first Final Fantasy to incorporate a beautiful story that didn't just have characters going around like in the first game defeating the 4 fiends, but these characters actually had complex storylines, and some characters left, some characters were added as you go throughout the story, and some characters died. It was one of the first games to ever have such a gripping story that pulled you along and really directed your path as to where you're going in this world. I really appreciated that. As a lover of books, novels, I love it when there is direction and they're telling you what to do, who to talk to, where to go, to see the story unfold. So that's a little bit about Final Fantasy II. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the characters, which are the things that you are here to see. So let's go ahead and talk about them and then get on with the beading. So first off, we have the main protagonist of the game. We have Furion, who I showed off a few minutes ago, but there he is. I love the tangerine and orange as well as the cherry here, just looking absolutely fabulous. Love the way Furion turns out. He is very courageous, and he not only fights with weapons but fights with magic, so he's definitely one you want in your group. So there is Furion. Here is Maria, and I love that hair. Look at those shades. Look at Maria. She's looking wonderful. Maria is Furion's childhood friend, and you would say that they probably have a bit of a romance going on, you know, like a friendship that grows closer. And so there's Maria. Love the way she turned out. Next up, you have your obligatory bodyguard, Guy. Now, Guy's a big dude. He's got his armor on. Love the royal colors here with the purple. Guy is also known as Gus, which I didn't know till I did some research. So there is Guy. He is the gentle giant. He communicates with animals, and of course, as you would know, he is very strong in his physical attacks. So there is Guy. This character is Leon, who you meet at some point in the story. And he is Maria's brother. So there is Leon. And I'm not going to go any further into detail with that, but this is Leon, and I love his colors. Love the grays. Gray hair up here, which is really black, but you know, with the colors you got to make it pop out a little bit. So there is Leon. So next up we have a character named Minwu, and Minwu is one of my favorite white mage designs of the Final Fantasy series. I love the way he looks. He's got that Arabian aesthetic, and he is a white mage, and I just think it's really cool how they differentiated his look here. So there is Minwu, lots of white in that design. Next up we have Joseph, who joins your group, and he helps out with the Snow Cavern, which is a cool area in the game because you get to use kind of a hovercraft to get there, a ski some kind. So there is Joseph. The next one is Gordon, and Gordon is a prince. He looks very princely with his colors here. Love that I was able to incorporate the fern colors there, and also the creams, and the blue with the headband at the top. So Gordon kind of reminds me of Prince Edward in Final Fantasy IV. A lot of parallels here with that game. He kind of has to find his courage. Thank goodness though he doesn't fight with a harp. This is Scott, and Scott is actually related to Gordon. You can see the similarity here with the designs, and they got the same eye color. So Scott is Gordon's older brother, and he actually has an unfortunate death in the game. Character that's not around very long, but you can see him here. Great colors. Again, a wonderful red and greens with this princely outfit. So there's Scott. We've got Lila, and she is actually a pirate. Isn't that so cool? She's a pirate. She joins your group after you are battling her or defeating her group or something like that. I kind of forget the details, but there is Layla. And the last character I'm going to be making today is a character with the last name that's very familiar. This is Ricard Highwind. So Ricard Highwind, or Ricard. He is no relation to Sid Highwind, because I'm sure a lot of time has passed, but maybe a distant ancestor. maybe. But Sid Highwind from Final Fantasy VII, of course. But here is Ricard, and he joins the group. Not going to say anything about why he joins the group, but I love the colors. Try not to spoil much for people, but love the colors. Love the darks, the charcoal, the dark gray, even midnight blue. Alright everybody, those are all the characters I'm going to be making today. All that's left to say is, get your board, get your beads, and let's get to beading. Okay everybody, we've got all of our Final Fantasy II characters here, all 10 of the main cast, and we have the stands. Now is the time to put everything together. Let's get to it. And here they all are, ladies and gentlemen, standing in a row very neatly. Really love how this whole cast turned out. They look amazing. I love the Pixel Remaster and what they did to make these colors really pop and stand out. I can't say enough great things about it. Now we're going to get these guys on the shelf for display, and they are going to look awesome. Man, what a great set of characters. I love what they did with the Final Fantasy II Pixel Remaster sprites. They brought them to life, they made them glow, they made them colorful, more colorful than they ever have been. I hope you enjoyed watching these characters being created today. I really enjoyed making them. If you want to see more Final Fantasy II pixel art sprites brought to life, maybe you want to see the Emperor, maybe you want to see some other townspeople sprites, let me know down below. I'd love to make more of them for you, show you how to make them with fuse beads. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see me make more video game characters from all kinds of franchises out there, then please support me by leaving a like and consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. I put out at least 2 videos every week. I also talk about retro games, and sometimes I give you my top 10 picks for pixel art. It just depends on what is going on. Coming up next week, I actually have a video where I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2 and the reasons why I'm super excited about it. And please don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions or frustrations with fuse beading. I want to make this process as easy as possible for you. Thank you all so much for watching. I pray that you have a fantastic day, and until next time, the Gentle Giant Guy says, happy beading!